Can you win in Dynasty without knowing who's good in college? No. We're here to tell you for the 2025 season who you want to take. Producer. Welcome to the Dynasty Pulse on Fantasy Sports Advice Network and the Undroppables and on terrestrial radio 101.5, talking West Tennessee. This is the finest collection of knowers of ball in the industry. There's stiff competition out there, but we're stiffer. It's been a long week, but we're rejuvenized, so lock in. We're about to wild out and hammer down to get you bricked up. I'm Bigz. With me in the Hall of Ball Knowledge, we got Grindberg up here, Chev, the handless clapper down there, Coach Retzlaff, drafting Jeremiyahs, and a special guest. Ooh! And today we are brought to you by Agua de Bolivia. It is Holland's finest herbal liqueur made with pure coca. Not brought to you in the sense that they're sponsoring us, but they're definitely driving my content. How are you guys doing?
Doing awesome, man. We're excited to have our awesome guest on the show. Bigz, you know anything about him?
Mike's been on the show before.
Yeah.
And we're here to talk about college football 2025 players who are going to be rising in your drafts, in dynasty rookie drafts in 2026, right?
Right. All right. Well, let's
bring that's what I thought we were kind of doing.
So we have Mike Vallerie from C2C. So let's bring him on, boys.
Hey, Mike.
Was that a cutout of me from last show?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Welcome back to the show.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back. If we keep this going, we'll start seeing my hairline recede over the years. I'm kind of in that age. So,
well, at least you don't have the white in your beard yet. So you at least have that going for you, Mike. Well,
that's why I wear a hat.
Yeah, exactly. He's bald and he's gray. So we're ready to rock. Mike, tell everybody what you're up to these days. You got some gray in that beard, Bigz.
I am just doing the podcast format right now. I like to enjoy my summer, unlike some absolute just degenerates. Yeah, I like to have some free time the off season. Camp out is always fun, but usually it's a lot of smoke, a lot of mirrors. But then I like to dissect it a little bit after all the news blows by.
That's awesome, man. So who are you representing? Tell us about what you're doing right now, other than chilling out.
Well, I am representing Kentucky here, guys. Shout out Tennessee. I just want everyone to know Tennessee that Kentucky is on top. I just want you guys to know that it's on top for a reason. So a little bit of geography there for you guys. But no, I'm just repping C2C right now, going through college rankings. Very excited for the season starting up, and it's a little bit more exciting this year than last year. Well, I think last year was exciting because it's very ambiguous the last 2 years, lacking of star talent. So it makes discussions way more fun because you have guys that are cheering for whatever player. I'm cheering for player X, cheering for player Y. And it makes the debates a little bit more fun because it's just wide open.
That's awesome. Well, Chev, Coach, how you guys doing tonight before we get into our next segment?
Man, if I was any better, I'd be triplets,
Oh, he just
what?
He just went up to you, Chev. What's how you doing?
I did want to say to Mike, congratulations on the ceiling fan. I was listening to one of the previews that you did. So shout out, man. Shout out to ceiling fans. The ceiling is the roof. Yes.
Everyone doesn't know it's my 5th year anniversary gift. My wife got it for me. I kept complaining about how hot the room was, and she was like, "Got you a ceiling fan." I was like, "This is what love is." And then we installed it at 9 p.m. at night, and I'm like, "You're not holding the flashlight right. You're not holding it right. I need it up here."
That's awesome.
That boy. Yeah,
all right,
get him going.
Shout out to ceiling fans. I mean, come on, I got one.
The best.
I mean, yeah.
Top 5 invention.
I mean. Yeah, it's up there with sliced bread and penicillin in terms.
I was going to say programmable electric kettles and bidets.
I didn't know what direction that was going in, so I'm glad to be programmable. Right. I'm like, what is he doing?
Electric kettles, so you can make your tea water at 190 degrees exactly.
That's very exact.
Oh man, were you in on the lawsuits against McDonald's for their coffee being too hot in the early 2000s?
No, but
That was actually
I wouldn't be
was
doing
him.
this. It was me.
All right, let's get back on track. Let's get our heads back into the bucket here, and let's start probing our expert. We're kicking things off with, Mike, C2C. So obviously we're bringing some rookie draft content. We're actually going to be talking about the preview for the 2025 college football season, and we're going to get an early look at what the future stars of the 2026 NFL draft looks like. So here's how it works. Each host will take turns covering a position group and putting Mike on the spot to spotlight players who aren't household names, or maybe they are yet, but he could by draft season, things roll around. These are talking about sleepers, risers, and brand names. So we're going to start it off with me. I'm going to talk to Mike about some quarterbacks, but first let's get the Probing the Expert video. All right. Shout out to Dev for all our graphics. He's done a great job for us. So keep it up, man. All right. So, Mike, let's assume that Arch Manning stays in school and doesn't enter until 2025. So currently for me, the top 2026 class consists of 4 guys, essentially Lenora Sellers, Drew Allar, Garrett Nussmeier, and Cade Klubnik. So there's a lot in this group, some upside, some volatility. Do you think this is most likely to slip down the boards over the next year? So who is it going to be? Is there someone in that tier who might be a bit overrated if the development or curve flattens out?
Also, pardon his pronunciations. He's Canadian.
I am Canadian.
My Canadian code always does pronunciations pretty funny as well. I like Lenore Sellers a lot. Always the preseason, they always overhype the quarterback list. I think last year they were projecting between like 8 guys to be first round picks, depending on who you were talking to, like max of 8. That was kind of like the range. Obviously, we slimmed that down quite a bit. And I think it's just natural the position to overhype as season goes along. You get a little bit more knowledgeable and you see how stuff is trending. It's not going too well. This year, I think Drew Allar falls in that bucket. I love the talent. I love the tools. 6'4", 240, maybe 6'5", depending on who you're talking to. But again, critical size, great athleticism, great arm strength. The tools are all there, and it's the usual story of like, well, the tools are there, but we haven't seen a step forward in development, and especially in the big games too. Like we've seen him make tons of mistakes in the playoff games. It was rough. It was pretty terrible. And for the most part, looking at the regular season, it's kind of a cakewalk of schedule when you compare the talent level of his team versus the other team. I use this comparison a lot, and I was pretty happy to see Cam Newton use it recently in a talking conversation about his quarterback rankings. When we talk about trucks and trailers, I really like that discussion because you have quarterbacks that elevate the talent around them. You have quarterbacks that are just as good as the talent around them, and they're kind of the trailer. The truck is the team pulling them, whereas the trailer, and the truck is the team pulling them. So with Drew Allar, it feels like he's only as good as the talent around him. I feel like that gets a little bit you can have different opinions about that type of stuff. I didn't think like Shadur Sanders, for example, was like elevating the talent around him. But like when I look back at like Drake May, for example, UNC went like 9-4 and like 10-3. If Drake May wasn't on that team was an easy like 3-win team, 4-win team. So players that become an X factor to elevate their team, I don't think Drew Allar fits that, and I just don't expect him to fit that anymore. I've just seen no real development curve from the last couple of years. So a lot of decision making stuff just not there. But he can still get drafted off trades. But we're talking the top of the class here. I think we'll find him, tier 2, tier 3 by the time draft night rolls around.
Okay. So before I get Chev in here, I got a flip side question. So I got 2 guys flying under the radar right now, and Sam Leavitt and Fernando Mendoza. Leavitt, obviously, he's got that wild off-platform playmaking juice, and Mendoza's got the sharp in-structure timing. Between the two, who's more likely to become a true draft riser and maybe even sneak into day 1 or day 2 in 2025?
Very big fan of Sam Leavitt. Talking about players that elevate talent around him. Sam Leavitt has that backyard ball stuff that you see a lot in college, but you don't see it translate too well to the NFL. I want to say Baker Mayfield might be like one of the first ones I really feel like was a backyard baller that actually kind of translated well. I think Sam Leavitt's cut from the same cloth. So we'll see how his development goes. Let's see if he does this 2 years in a row, then I feel confident he's like that. He won't be the number 1 guy you're looking for, but he could be a solid like 2-3 QB 2-3 in the draft that you're really excited about. So big fan of Sam Leavitt. I've always been a fan of Fernando Mendoza from a trade standpoint. The story is great too. He was I think his offer sheet was very bleak, and then Alabama contacted him to walk on. Yale wanted him. Yale's obviously the FCS program, and then Cal was like, "You can have a scholarship as you come to Cal." So he went to Cal, and pretty much
Shout out
just
Golden
got, yeah. So from there, you guys know the story. I just think he looked lost in the pocket. I don't think he handles pressure well at all, but somehow he like makes it work way more often than he should back there. Unlike Sam Leavitt, it feels like Sam Leavitt does it intentionally. Fernando Mendoza feels like he kind of just falls into success a little bit too often. So a little bit more refinement needs to happen there, but I love the transfer to Indiana. Kirsten runs a really tight ship. I love what Kirsten is doing over there. He's navigating the transfer portal not as like, oh, what 5 stars washed out of Alabama. He only takes guys that have produced. He'll take 3 guys that have all had production profiles. They get to school, and he picks out the one that's actually the best out of those 3. I think that's the way it should go for the transfer portal. And Fernando Mendoza chose to go there. It's 1, a superior offensive system. 2, it's an easy schedule. 3, the raw numbers he should put up will like create a nice, strong base that people are going to be like, oh, well, this quarterback should be good. He has 3 solid years of production. He's got 2 different schools of production, 2 different systems. It's a lot of positive stuff. And I like they didn't go to like Georgia or like Alabama or other schools that were offering, because I don't think he's a first round talent. I'm not even sure he's like a day 2 talent, but I think he's just like, I'm going to secure the bag at day 3. I'm getting my couple $1 million and I'm not going to lose it. So I really like this transfer for him.
Love it. Yeah, great. Chev?
I have Fernando thoughts. Go ahead, Chev.
Yeah, man. I really love everything that you said about Drew Aller. I'm lockstep with you on the way that you feel about Drew Aller, and I'm also lockstep with you on the way you feel about Sam Leavitt. I feel like his style is something that we've seen the NFL become more open to, being able to play off schedule, do the RPO thing, create like quick decisions, and he's able to extend plays. I think he's going to be a sneaky athlete, because he's just really slick in the pocket. So that really excites me to hear someone who's tapped into the pulse of college football say all these positive things when I just took Sam Leavitt in the devy draft. So, and then also hating on Drew Aller, because I've never seen him. He's just like, the 99 slider version of Quinn Ewers. Like you want to see it, and it just never happens the way that you want it. So I'll move into my question after, just really being in alignment with you in your answer to, what you said about the quarterback situation. But with the pay scale gradually increasing to record levels in the NFL, wide receivers obviously carry a level of importance on rosters. It can't be understated. The 2025 class lacked the star power that the 2024 class did. There's always diamonds in the rough. Do you see a Drake London-esque breakout for current wide receiver Jacoby Lane, or another guy way out there in Denzel Boston for Washington? Or do you kind of see it happening for a guy like, Zachariah Branch or Kevin Conception? Just whatever name that you have, I'm asking for my own personal gain, and all the listeners will benefit as well. But who are some of the guys that could have like an I know we're not talking about running backs, but who are some of the guys like Ashton Genty was on no one's radar as a first round pick last year. And that's the type of, so that's what I'm hinting at. That's what I'm alluding to. Do you think, Jordan Tyson already broke out, so I didn't want to include him in this, but he's Sam Leavitt's top target. So I guess we can fit him in here. Do you think he's the wide receiver 1 overall in this class? Or do you see someone, either those names that I mentioned, which you've answered here that I'm reading, but do you think that, Jordan Tyson, someone dethrones him as the wide receiver 1 in the class, or who do you have as your wide receiver 1? And, who's a guy that's kind of off the radar that will be a household name for dynasty players after the 2025 season, Mike?
All right. I'm going to roll through just quick comments on some of the names you dropped there. I'm relatively fairly out on Jacoby Lane. Last season, I want to say it was around, I'm not going to give the week because I'm going to mess it up. He was like benched on and off last season. He didn't really get a lot of the concepts of being a receiver, although the news reports out there are like he's just great in contested catch situations, great extensions, great body control, all the stuff you like to hear from a sideline guy, but it's mostly contested catch type stuff. And I don't think he's that special of an athlete. So I just don't know if he's more than the college asset. Boston, Denzel Boston of Washington, a lot of people in my company like him a lot. I definitely am the lowest on him, although I will say for 6'3" plus guys, I think he's a better mover than people give him credit for. And he does fall for me in a comparable to Jaden Higgins, who I was also skeptical on all the way up until the NFL draft. So if you're a Jaden Higgins fan, I think you'll really like Denzel Boston. So if
that's why I brought him up.
Got it tight.
Yeah, I think he'll be there. I always get concerned though about like one of the trends I notice is that NFL draft players tend to always have a somewhat of a freshman profile. So if they don't really touch the field as a true freshman, this isn't anything in detail, just really vague, just small touches as a true freshman. Denzel Boston didn't get a lot of run until like year 4 or year 3. And it's a little bit of a red flag for me. But again, I digress. If you're a Jaden Higgins fan, Denzel Boston's going to line up for you. With Branch, he hit 8 out of 8 of the year 1 0 theory for us here at C2C. I don't have it pulled up. I'm going to pull up what that is. I'll explain it to you in a little bit. But basically, if he doesn't get drafted, that would actually be an astronomical hit to the theory. And then with Kevin Concepcion, I don't like Kevin Concepcion because I'm tired of these low ADOT merchants just tricking everybody. So like the Malachi Corleys of the past. Last year was Tez Johnson. There's always one or two that gets like, oh, he's a yak specialist. And then if he's big enough, then he gets the comparable to Debo. We're like, oh, this guy's the next Debo. And it's like, first off, I don't even think Debo's that good a wide receiver. He just fell in a favorable system and they know how to use his skill set. And that worked out phenomenal for Debo. We'll see how he looks at Washington. Dude's looking like an uncle off field, honestly. If you look at his little belly, he looks like an uncle at the barbecue. But as far as receivers, I don't think are like too like need to be talked about more for me. It's Mekhi Lemon. Mekhi Lemon is to me going to challenge Jordan Tyson as my wide receiver 1. So Jordan Tyson is my number 1. But Mekhi Lemon, I think, is a special type of route runner that can fit multiple systems and schemes. He week 4 got sent to the hospital, kick return, major concussion, and then was in and out trying to get back to the lineup. I think it was like the final 3 or 4 weeks was a full-time go. At the same time, USC made the switch to Jaden Mayava, who's a gunslinger, not like Sam Leavitt. This guy's way too loose with the ball. But the thing is, they should be in positive game script the whole entire time. And they already have a good rapport. I believe their combined stats are pretty impressive. I have to pull them up for the last 2 weeks, but I don't see why that wouldn't slow down. But again, I think he's a phenomenal route runner. And my like comparable to him is actually probably Matthew Golden, who was a first-round pick based on his technique ability. And I didn't see Matthew Golden running a 4.3 at the combine. Did not see that happening. But Mekhi Lemon, again, a little bit of a not a plus athlete, but again, last 2 weeks of the year, Notre Dame, Texas A&M, 2 phenomenal defenses, 10 targets each game, 133 yards against Notre Dame, 99 yards against Texas A&M. I just think this guy's going to explode, become a first-round conversation topic with Jordan Tyson, and that'll probably, for me, be the debate. And then a little sneaky one is Antonio Williams. I'm looking at National Mock Draft Database, so I guess that's not a hot take anymore. Clemson just has like a wealth of talent. They don't really need to like hyper target one guy. So I don't know if the production profile will be that flashy. As far as from a technical ability, I think he can operate from the outside. He doesn't operate on the outside because they have Wesco, who has the long speed, and TJ Moore is more of the X build. He just supplies more in the slot than the other 2 guys. But he can play outside in the NFL. And that guy is a bona fide athlete. I think our star index has him as like a 0.95 or something like that. Dude runs a 4.4 flat. He's the full package. He's just been a hidden commodity from the spreadsheets perspective.
Yeah.
So I love what you say about comping Jaden Higgins and Boston, because I was a huge Jaden Higgins guy. Yeah. And Boston was my first wide receiver that I drafted in the Tadpole Bowl. Shout out Fantasy Cares and Chris Froton. So I love that comp because I'm all in on Jaden Higgins. Talk to us a little bit about Nick Harbour. So this is a guy who's the absolute cheat code in college football 2025. 6'5", 2026. Okay, thank you for the correction, Chev. I appreciate it. College football 2026. Anybody who plays with the Gamecocks, they're basically just kind of like booting Lenora Sellers out and throwing the ball as far down the field as they can. And 6'5", 240-pound Nick Harbour with his 2.42 speed or 2.24 speed and 10.2200 former track runner. He is just like camping under everything. So he is going to get among the people that play EA Sports College Football 2026, not a sponsor, but hey, reach out. He's going to run up draft boards, going to be a draft eligible junior. What is the preseason hype on this dude? Can he be legit? Like, this is the next, like, Julio Jones, Calvin Johnson, or is he going to be more in the Dante Thornton camp and and have to earn his stripes.
Yeah, I fall on the fence of that. I think he's the typical overhyped, hyper athletic X that's like 6'4". The Savion Williams, the Quentin Johnstons, the insert any guy that's 6'4" that operates super high. Our star index does have him as a 0.958 athlete, which is insanely high. A top comparable for us is Chase Claypool. I think Chase Claypool is actually even too nice for him as a player. I don't think there's any refinement to his game whatsoever. When he was coming out, a lot of us wanted to see him play defensive end because he was an athlete. He stayed way too long running track. He's too big to be a serious Olympian. Olympians don't weigh 240. They don't even weigh 220 when he was running track. They weigh much less than that. So it was kind of like you're not committing to either one. Now you're wasting time as far as like which one to fully commit to. I just find that the footwork sluggish. Everything receiver related, I just don't think he does. He's just a superior athlete on the field. And with pair with the Norris Sellers, who does know how to extend the play a little bit longer, those athletes shine a little bit harder because if he doesn't get open in 3 seconds, the way most like systems need you to get open, it's fine. Norris Sellers will extend that play for 5 seconds, 6 seconds. You just got to find the open spot in the zone and get there. And if he's big enough athlete, he'll find it. He'll find the spot in the zone.
All right. So keep Nick Harbour on your radar, but probably for a later round guy. All right. So I was blessed with the tight end position group. The hardest position to handicap in fantasy football, handicapping rookie tight ends is even harder. And the hardest of all is in Campus to Canton. For example, in 2023, I was on Luke Lachey and Amari Kneeblack. I was as high on those guys as I was on Aronde Gadsden II. And I was 0 in on Harold Fannin and Elijah Arroyo. The 2026 Campus to Canton startup class seems nearly impossible to rate right now. What is your process for revealing tight ends that will help in the C2C process as they ascend, not just on the campus side, but elevate to the NFL and be impactful? Do we believe in guys like Justin Joly and Jack Endries? Shout out Cal Golden Bears. Is it wasteful to wish cast on smaller school guys like Tanner Koziol and Holden Willis? What is your take on the tight end position, and what are you looking at?
I hate looking at tight ends. Let me just say that. So when I'm looking at, I had to watch Jack Endries' tape recently because his dad reached out to us asking us why his son wasn't in our devy guide, which I was like, let me look and find out for you. I didn't say that to him, but I watched his son's tape
because he got no run at Cal. That's why. It's
a lot of like good scheme. It was like he would leak out a lot. It was like block and then leak out. And I was like, the dude's executing the scheme super well. But I'm looking at him and I'm like, I could ask 40 other guys in college to probably run this scheme too. And they can probably do it just as well. But he was doing it excellently. Transfers to Texas, which is great because Texas has the national spotlight. Different scheme too. They used Gunnar Helm last year, which was a great possession tight end. I think that's probably the best style of tight end. So we'll see how he does there. As far as like tight ends, I like a certain build. I like a certain style of tight end. So like, I think that a lot of people get fooled with lanky tight ends, especially when you guys look at like spreadsheet stuff like that. Aronde Gadsden was not a tight end. He's a wide receiver masquerading as a tight end. And there's a lot of those guys in college because they're throwing any guy that's 6'4" and being like, that's our tight end. That's him right there. Look how tall he is. Like he's got the size. And I think that's the troublesome with it too, because a lot of guys can't block either. If they can't block on a college level, I'm not going to trust them on the NFL level. Those linemen and linebackers are still developing even in the NFL until they hit like 26, 27. Their guys are still getting bigger. So like Gadsden fell in that. Jalil Skinner was a big hype guy for a while too. Black's the same way. Willis is too. And then they got the move tight ends. These like Chev, who's the tight end from the Jags that came from the Giants? He's gone now, I'm pretty sure.
Evan Ingram.
Thank you, Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram's one of the few guys I see actually work out in the NFL. Watching his tape with the Jags, it felt like I was watching 70% screenplays. So Holden Willis falls into that type for me. Brock Bowers kind of fell into a little bit of that type, but Brock Bowers is a unicorn. The way he moves and the way he can just play, it's like that guy's just different. And he can't block, which is like a big red flag for me, but it doesn't matter. He's so good at everything else, it doesn't matter. I just like my tendency to be like, if I can picture Mark Andrews, Gronkowski, Kelsey, like that certain level of derpiness, the physicality, but like just got that dog. That's what I want as a tight end. And I can't really measure that on a college level without looking at interviews. Not even interviews with them. I gotta look at like the player Twitter account, see if they got this dude looking stupid in the background. I'll be like, yeah, that's my tight end. Look how derpy he is. them just take on linebackers for no reason. Like that's the tight end that I want on my teams.
What's his level of derpiness? That is
that's going to be a new word here. We gotta.
I don't want that dog in him. I want like the guy that's too dumb to know that he shouldn't hit that guy. Like
that's a direct quote or a paraphrase from the Denny Carter tweet. Tight end, derp.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. Like it's like if I can look at them and be like, would Gronkowski drink with him on a Saturday night? Then he put him on my radar. So
that's great.
The only like why, because I always look at NFL trends and see what like the NFL is always changing, and that what kind of dictates the prototype you see come up from college. Isaiah Likely is the one wide receiver masquerade as a tight end, and I'm like, this guy might break the mold, and now I have to reconsider all the skinny tight ends out here and stuff like that. So I have trouble going through the tight end like process. I really just kind of see. Obviously, physical build is number one for me, the athleticism, so all the off-field stuff. And then once the off-field stuff is done, if they don't have a production profile, I'm probably not looking at them. And by that, I mean like 400 yards receiving, which isn't tough, but a lot of guys don't hit it in a single season. And I just take it from there. So it's hard. I don't have any advice. It's just good luck to you. Good luck.
And when you have a guy like Nick Harbour, who's bigger than some tight ends, and a guy like Rohan Jones, who from Arkansas, who's a tight end, but he's smaller than a lot of wide receivers, what do you do? So anyway,
Chev,
hit it.
So follow-up question there. How did your model favor Ben Sinnott coming out?
9 out of 10
evaluation.
I liked him coming out. I actually did like him coming out. Prototypical size, great athleticism. He was productive, useful in the system and the scheme. I liked him coming out. I think he was my tight end like 2 or 3 coming out. I can't really remember who was else in that draft, but he was up there. Was it him and Trey McBride together?
No, it was him and Brock Bowers. Or no. Yeah.
He was a 9 out of 10 derp.
Okay. I think he was a solid number 2 then. It was Brock Bowers for me. Brock Bowers wasn't even derpy. He's just a freak.
Oh, he's derpy. Watch an interview.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a 42-year-old man that just went into hiding for years and years and years and came back out.
Man, the worse his hairline gets, the better Brock Bowers is. The more alpha he becomes. Now, following up, NC State fan here. I married into it, my whole family. With Justin Joly, is there any issue as well for somebody like CJ Bailey where he's too raw? That's going to affect somebody like Justin Joly getting to the next level? Like, how do you see that playing out in that specific situation?
Ooh, I view Joly in the mold of Evan Ingram. He's kind of like the same cut from the same cloth. He's not really an inline blocker. Screenplays are more his thing. Very good athlete, but not like a physical type of player or even his routes physical at all. I think linebackers could get the better of him within his routes, and that's kind of the big concern with those type of guys. CJ Bailey, I think, had a phenomenal true freshman season. I think, I think the bare minimum of true freshmen, if they can win some college games, I think that's a huge plus if they're not just looking like absolutely terrible out there. So I think I would give CJ Bailey a pass and just trust him going to year 2. As far as Justin Joly go, though, he's on my radar. I think he's a draftable asset for sure. I think he gets drafted. I just don't know if it's like round 3 or round 6. It's kind of like that range.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's crazy because we've seen so much depth in this tight end class this year. So it'll be interesting to see if there's a lull and a pullback on the class next year. Hopefully somebody like Joly can end up hitting and getting the right fit, right situation. We see it happen all the time where players are wayward into the NFL, and you just wonder what could their situation have been had they had just a better run out of things. And it's just a little lesson in life. And I'm sure you guys see all the time when I listen to you guys on C2C, you'll reference comps to players who don't necessarily hit in the NFL. And it's just kind of a reminder of the Rolodex of what we go through, all the players who we've had and expand. And it's kind of neat to see how it hits right now. We're talking about players who may get there, but at the same time, they may stop and fade. But at the same time, this time next year, you're going to have a player that you comp to, a player in college who balled out but didn't hit in the NFL, but it's still a good comp. So it's always interesting to see that happen. Now, segueing over to the running back position, Mike, we have running backs in this class. Jeremiyah Love. All right,
Jeremiyah
love me some Jeremiyah. If their name's Jeremiyah, if they got the name Retzlaff, I'm going to want them on my team. Nicholas Singleton from Penn State. They're name brand running backs, right, for draft stock. But we may get a teaser, a lesser workload in order to save them from their respective teams' playoff runs. I heard you guys talking about that. Part of the strategy in the underdog streets to maybe get one or of the two, but maybe not both. But what running backs do you think have a chance to break into that top 5 of the 26 rookie class who may not be name brand now, but also if we are drafting on underdog or we are trying to get them on our teams, who will just get the run of the heavy workload and catapult up too? So the best of both worlds for C2C fantasy into 26.
Okay. Oh, you said 26 rookie class. Okay, so yeah, sorry, my bad.
If there's anybody who you think is just under the radar to push for 27, just guys who aren't in that top 5. So it can be liberal there.
Okay. I think the running back class is one of the weakest it's been in a while. I think the Jonathan Brooks class is very weak. I think last year's class was pretty good, actually. But the Brooks class is weak. I think this class is weak as well. So at the top, like Darius Taylor, I think should be talked about too as like the bona fide number 3 Minnesota running back. He kind of gets hurt a little bit too often. So it's all about like if he can put together a healthy season. But otherwise, he checks all the boxes as far as being a pass catcher, a nice downfield runner, has some shiftiness to him. Like a one-cut guy, make the first guy miss. Don't ask him to do too much more than that. But, one guy miss is pretty good in the NFL. So he's a player that I like a lot coming up. And then there's a lot of like G5 transfers that are they're dangerous. The G5 transfers are dangerous because they're going up in competition levels. I was talking about like Micah Hughes from Oregon coming from Tulane. He was a nice, like robust runner, but it's like there's no big runs. He's not a big athlete. So it's a little bit scary. Obviously, the Oregon line is superior. Every single running back that's been out there since Dan Lanning's has been efficiently as a runner, all of them, no matter how good they do in the NFL or not. Bucky's been great. We'll see about Jordan James.
Say his name. Jaden Knott, say his name.
Nah.
Sorry.
We'll get to him a little bit. Quentin Joyner's not talked about enough for me in the NFL draft cycle. I think college size talked about plenty, but Texas Tech running back transferred from USC. He's been an efficient runner, just hasn't gotten his full workload there. We see Texas Tech willingly to adjust the system to whatever it's going to work there. So I think Joyner's going to be the beneficial RB1 there. A name that might rise up, and I'm a little bit worried about being a false flag, is Antoine Raymond from Rutgers. Soroka, I can't remember his first name. The OC there runs a run-heavy system. They're 4th as far as giving the primary touches to the lead running back, but it's like a consistent top 10. So it's not going to change at all. So Raymond should be a heavy usage running back. I don't know his ADP is in the underdog at the moment, but he should be, to me, a first 3-round selection in underdog, maybe first 2. Yeah, there's just a lot of landmines out there. And I mean, I just don't know. I don't know. This could be a class where we see maybe 2 or 3 running backs day 1 and day 2. Usually the average is 6 or 7, but I think 4 is kind of like a minimum. And I think it might push the minimum this year.
And Raymond, for people curious, he's going in the 9th round.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that. I like to grab him because the guy coming up is CJ Campbell's the one that's quote unquote competing against him. FAU running back, like I'll just pass. The FAU is I'll pass. Well, I think the guy's been in the system for a while.
Awesome. All right. Let's get into the next segment because we're going to tie this into some underdog. Before we do that, we're going to hear from one of our sponsors. Let's go.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.
All right, so what we're going to do now in this segment is we're going to rapid fire again. We're going to ask Mike a question. Now we're going to relate this to underdog strategy because we have the ADPs uploaded on Underdog for the college class. So we're going to take advantage of that. And let's talk Underdog best ball real quick. So we're pure value hunting for me right now. I got a question for you about some wildly different ADPs for the quarterback position. Klubnik, Sellers, Nussmeier, Leavitt, Mendoza, Allard. In order, we got QB3 and Klubnik. Sellers is QB6. Nussmeier is QB19. Leavitt is QB34. Fernando Mendoza is QB85. And Allard is all the way down at QB93. So based on those prices, who's the best bang for your buck at QB right now in underdog drafts?
It's this isn't gonna be a hot take. I think Mendoza at 85 and Aller at 93 are kind of crazy values. Aller last year ended up QB 12. Now most of that was front loaded. But again, when I'm drafting for best ball, I like to think about counting unknowns. So with Aller, it's the same coaching staff. It's probably the same offensive line. The pass catching weapons are basically the same. They lose Wallace, but get Tabor Pena, and they're, I think, comparable players. They do lose a tight end, but again, it's like you lose one tight end. There's not a lot of unknowns here with Aller. So him being at QB 93, I don't see how he's not a top 36 QB in the season. So he's just smashed the ADP. We talked about Mendoza earlier in the Kurt Cinetti offense, and you guys can just look up Indiana stats last year. And Fernando Mendoza is much better than Curtis Rourke, who was the quarterback last year. So it's more like he's the only unknown, but you feel pretty good about him. So that should just smash the ADP. I feel very good about those two guys.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Who's next
Wow.
on the rapid fire? It's you, Chev, right?
Yeah, and I didn't put this in the notes because I just wanted, like, I can't play college underdog fantasy where I'm at. So
because it's Tennessee, you got to go to Kentucky.
No, well, I live in Arkansas now.
Like, okay.
Yeah. So who's a guy in the middle rounds that, like, just slightly off the beaten path that you feel like is just grossly mispriced here?
I did not.
You don't have to go through like the ADP. Who's a guy that you like that you feel like everybody, like you're like Mugatu and Zoolander, where you're like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills that you're bullish on, that you feel like is available outside of the top 36 to 36 picks, that you feel like is going to be a household name. So piggybacking off of my wide receiver question from earlier, let's talk underdog and let's talk your guy, Mike. If you had to pick one guy that's not like a first, second, or third round pick that you feel like is going to give you top 12 value at the position.
Can I ask you guys what Hoover's ADP is? Do one of you guys have it pulled up?
Hoover?
Yes, Josh Hoover from TCU.
He's 36, so that'd be the 3-4 turn.
Okay. Is that not middle round enough? Because I just think that's
we talking about quarterbacks or receivers?
Quarterback.
He's a guy.
Quarterback.
Yeah. He's one of your guys that you're going, thinking that he's going to rise in value a lot. I think, talk about Hoover here.
Okay, so he took over 2023. He took right as soon as the conference started. So he missed all the easy non-con schedule. 2,200 passing yards for 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. That was 2023 stats. And if you did the extrapolation game and that across the bowl game and across the games that he didn't start, that would have been a 4,000 yard pace for a quarterback. Now, last year, he almost hit 4,000 yards, 3,952 yards, 27 passing touchdowns, 11 interceptions. So that's still, I don't know what his end of year stats are. I'd be surprised if it wasn't like a top 15 quarterback last year. It should line up again this year. I don't understand why he wouldn't be another borderline 4,000 yard passer. Sonny Dykes' system, again, counting unknowns. Sonny Dykes has been super successful as far as offense goes from SMU days. Now at TCU, they've always put up big numbers. Went to the championship his first year there. So the passing weapons changed around, but it's not like the pass catching weapons have ever been special there. Quentin Johnson wasn't special. Savion Williams wasn't special.
Right.
They keep on. Jack Besh somehow became a second round draft pick. We'll see how that works out for the Raiders. But like, again, he kind of like makes these mediocre talents like work. So I think Josh Hoover should be a very easy and safe bet. Like you guys were reading off Cade Klubnik earlier, QB3. Everyone's drafting Cade Klubnik there. So many weapons, easy schedule. The formula is just obvious. But I think Josh Hoover can probably push for the same numbers, same easy formula. Everything's the same around him.
Beautiful.
Yeah, these guys are shaking their heads because I'm a Raiders fan, and Jack Besh. When we could have gotten Trey Harris, it's bad. I didn't know that Underdog had like a full like team best ball thing that you could draft. But one of the things that I've been doing in some of my Fantrax leagues is the Tadpole Bowl, which my draft just finished up today, was only the Power 5 conferences. But what I've noticed is that in a lot of these Fantrax drafts, some of the guys from like Middle Tennessee State and Ohio, and they just don't get drafted. Jacksonville State, Trey Stewart at running back. You have Tyler Huff, Jackson State quarterback. Are these guys available on Underdog? And if they are like the top returning players in terms of fantasy points per game in NCAA, why are these guys going? I finished a draft a couple days ago where I grabbed the top scoring returning tight end in Holden Willis, one of the top scoring quarterbacks, and one of the top scoring running backs in the last 3 rounds of the entire draft, simply because they were small schools that are outside the Power 5 that people don't know about, like Middle Tennessee State, etc. Where does that fit in Underdog ADP?
Holden Willis is still in school.
As far as I know,
he's been there since 2020. This would be his 6th year. That would be kind of amazing if he was still there.
Heck yeah.
I don't know. I am a big advocate for returning production. So if they have these numbers, I'll just go back to the well and get them again. So I don't really do too much G5 stuff, so I'm super sorry, but I'm super knowledgeable on the P5 stuff. I don't know. I kind of stick to the same strategy, just counting unknowns. So if there's a new coach, new quarterback, you kind of have to like reset yourself. If they bring in some other high-end name that might come in over them, so which I don't think they should at these G5 schools. It should be like washouts coming down from the P5, and I usually don't have much hope for those guys when they come down.
But if they're returning and they were scoring last year, then they should be okay. And if that's not a good enough question, then go ahead and give us 7 minutes on Jaden Ott. Let me hear it.
Okay, Jaden Ott played for Cal last year. All right, I'm assuming you're a big Jaden Ott fan.
Yeah. I've been waiting since his freshman year, which was like a breakout season. I've just been waiting for him to have a full healthy year and bring Cal a national championship. And then I was absolutely heartbroken. The worst day of my life was when Jaden Ott transferred to Oklahoma. When he decided to end, he was a Cal, he was a Cal Bear through and through, and said that. And then one day, it was all of a sudden he's entering the transfer portal. Now he's with John Matera, Oklahoma. Great, that's fine. I just now get to the end. Just get to the NFL now, because I was hoping that you would do. Cal has such a great legacy of running backs, and he was just going to be another one, and he tarnished the legacy because he's going to be a Sooner running back instead of a Cal running back. So, but I'm still high on him. He's going to have his 4th season this season. What are your thoughts?
So I'm a little bit skeptical if there really was an injury. I know how everyone has a bad season. Xavier Worthy had a bad run into the season. Everyone's like, oh, his hand was actually broken. And it was like, I don't think it was actually broken. I think he was out there playing football and just dropped the ball all the time, which is fine. He can fix that. I think Ott is, I don't know how to put this. He doesn't have power. I don't think he has a lot of wiggle either to make guys miss. I think he's a decisive runner that finds the hole right, and I just kind of always love Cal's scheme. Cal had one of those coaching staffs that were pretty good at getting the most out of their system, more than they probably should, and always kind of being a fun team to watch. I'm actually skeptical if Jaden Ott's actually good. Retzlaff was talking about how we comp players that aren't always successful. My comp for Jaden Ott would probably be Sean Tucker. I think they're kind of cut from the same cloth as players, both very successful college running backs. I just don't know if he actually translates to the NFL. I do love the move to Oklahoma because, all the stuff with the Cal coaching staff there and just everyone just left ship. So I kind of understand he went. Yeah. So I understand.
Ron Grizel, like, what?
They're going to probably figure it out with him too, by the way. They'll probably figure it out with who's ever left over. They always kind of do. But again, Jaden Ott, I'm skeptical of the running style. I just don't know. I don't like. Last year's yards to contact was 1.94. Now, I know he was injured, but once again, he's not a bulldozer guy. He doesn't have like great contact balance. I don't know if he makes guys miss. He's a phenomenal pass catcher, but to me, that's just a check in the box when you go to the NFL. Every guy can catch the ball now in the backfield. There's very rarely a guy that can't. So there's like always one or two guys each year that I'm just lower on the consensus, and it's him. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. It bites me in the butt. I thought Jonathan Brooks was overrated. Got drafted really highly. Obviously, the ACL tear happened, so we'll never know. We'll never really know how he turned out. But
I mean, I'm pretty sure you're vindicated on that one. He has exactly 0 rushing yards in the NFL.
But it's an injury. It's an injury. I don't know.
On top of an injury, yeah. It's just.
I can't claim that. So like Marshawn Lloyd, Trey Benson, that whole class was just such frauds. But anyway, Jade not. Yeah. So I'm super skeptical. I am ready to eat my words though. I am, because a lot of smart guys are in on him, and I'm just not.
I was just in on him as a fan, not because I'm smart.
Okay.
All right, Coach. What do you got on this, man?
All right, Mike. So I've been using the C2C rankings. Everybody, you ought to go get them. Well worth it. I got the $20 draft guide. That's been fun. It's about 200 pages. So I've been running through the ACC, and somebody who has stood out to me, and plus listening to all of your guys' podcasts, Adam Randall. I see the running back. He's got a receiver background. He's ranked 39th, last I checked, on the rankings. Very high. But you can get him ADP around the 90s. I got him in the middle of there. I could probably wait longer. I've been noticing how versus the field, I can wait with the rankings that C2C has is that I'm able to use. But a question on Randall's skill set. Is Adam Randall a cheat code for his versatility because of that receiving background? And we've had guys like, Antonio Gibson. This year we have Brashard Smith, who we really like that ability. Is Adam Randall somebody who's setting up to be a cheat code this time next year, or is he 2 years away? It seems he's a junior, and if he has an epic season, he could declare. Where do you see his path? So do you see the cheat code path for him this year in the NFL? What do you see his path being, though, long term?
He was a phenomenal athlete coming out of high school. I think he was comped like Julio Jones as far as like what he could do as an athlete. Obviously he tore an ACL. He came back super early, like 6 months or whatever. I don't know, something insane, which was an awesome story. But then it didn't look good on the field, that's for sure. But he had the cheat code, because if he has the dual eligibility, if you're talking about for your C2C leagues, he can be a running back or a wide receiver. That's always kind of a cheat code. You can kind of fill him in there. And it's the confidence that we have in him is really about the player. It's about the system around him. Same offensive line, easy schedule. There should be tons of goal line touches for him to just fall forward into the end zone. So as far as like the talent eval portion of him goes, I don't think any of us are really buying into it. We'll see. Like, we'll get some film. Obviously, by week 4, we should probably understand his trajectory for the year, for the season, and then we can go from there. But as far as the talent goes, I'm very much not interested as far as like devy goes. But I am interested for CFF because, Clemson should just run up the score on everybody. They really should.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think we could get one of Schultze questions in here, as he is away tonight.
Schultze.
Shout out to Schultze.
He's in the back, wrestling around in drawers or something.
Right. So we'll get into one of his running back questions before we end the show here. So, is Jeremiyah Love a first-round pick in 2026 NFL draft? I think he should be, and seeing him stepping into an NFL role and making an immediate impact. Is it unreasonable task to try and acquire him in C2C right now? How does the value arc look for a can't-miss prospect as they move through their college years?
If someone owns Jeremiyah Love, they're not going to give him up because of all the hype that you're saying that is he a first-round pick. Everyone's having this kind of conversation right now. So the Jeremiyah Love owner probably going to give him up unless you're already handing him a top 5, top 6 NFL asset, like for the running back system, which in our case, we always advise that you take that trade. You take the proven asset that's already in the NFL for the aging potential superstar. Like people were talking about, like when Marvin Harrison's coming out, I got asked on a show, I don't think it was you guys, but a show asked me, like, would you trade Puka Nacua for Marvin Harrison? And I was like, I'd smash that Puka side all day. That guy just had 1,000+ yards. I'm grabbing Puka no matter what. I know he's going to be good for the rest of his career there. As far as Jeremiyah Loves go, being a first-round draft pick, I am of the opinion that no running back should ever be a first-round draft pick. They're very replaceable assets. Shout out to the Raiders. Bigz, go Raiders, for grabbing Genty so early. But like
that's gonna work out, so we're good.
I bet it will. I bet it'll work out. But I'll get on to Argentina a little bit. But I love Love's athleticism. There's hurdles on his tape. He's very fast. He has no real contact balance is the thing. He's actually the exact opposite of Genty's skill set. He doesn't have contact balance. I do think he gets away with stuff because of the lines that you're really superior at Notre Dame. Very big holes. He just has to find the right hole. The speed takes care of the rest. Open field vision, I also like a lot too. So it's more about once he's in the open, he's money. And I love that. I also love that he came back during the playoff game, although I'm very sure he got some juice put in him at halftime for that game. But as far as the first round pick goes, like, I don't know. He probably has that hype to him. I would have, if Genty didn't go first round last year, I would be 100% sitting here. No, there's no more first round running backs anymore. It's dead. Everybody's going to replace them. But Genty went, and now I'm like, I don't know. I think he is. If you're looking at a ceiling comp, it's got to be Gibbs. Gibbs isn't like much of a power runner, very slippery. I think that would be your high end comp for Jeremiyah Love. But
so what I'm hearing is that Neas Williams is the best running back in the Notre Dame room.
No, I think you can drop him. I think you can drop him. You can probably drop Keedron Young too. That guy wasn't even good in high school. That was the funniest ranking of all time. Running backs that average less than 7 yards per carry coming out of high school to the college, only one of them has made it to the NFL team as a UDFA, and it was for the Packers. Dexter Williams. It was Dexter Williams. That guy.
So viewers, you just got this. So we're in Dynasty, and Dynasty is layers. And Dynasty is layers of NFL players, rookies coming in. Now we have to scout college, but Dynasty starts in high school. And if you get a gem like running backs who average fewer than 7 yards per carry in high school, you don't want on your Dynasty teams. I mean, that is an absolute gem, Mike. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. Look for strength schedules too on Max Prep. They play week competition. Don't grab them. Don't grab them.
So if I started with Tyson and Love as my first two picks in the Tadpole Bowl, would I be off to a good start here?
No.
Yeah, I think you should feel pretty good about that. Yeah. I think Tyson should be contention for wide receiver 1 in college, and then Love should. I mean, Love's a home run threat every time he touches the ball. It's just going to be like 1 yard, 2 yards, and it'll be like 50 yards. You know, that's going to be.
Me next. I went Dampier, Mateer. Well, Mateer, then Dampier.
You went Dampier, who's transferring up from the G5 to the P5.
No, I went Mateer first, and then.
Oh, okay. I believe in Mateer. I don't. Those are two not good systems, though. Good luck with that. They're both not good systems,
but it's the Tadpole Bowl scoring rewards running quarterbacks.
It does, and it rewards returning wide receivers. That's a very big
and running backs, and I got a lot of those too.
Nice,
awesome.
Nice.
I'm gonna kick your ass, Mike.
You did a great job today answering all our questions on the hot seat, man. You're such a great, knowledgeable C2C, devy, CFB player, and we want to have you on again, maybe come the fall when things are ramping up there, and we can get some more updates on where things are at. But why don't you update everybody? Tell everybody again where they can find all your great content and what you're doing these days, my man.
We're at C2C, so campus, the number 2 Canton. It's also a fantasy format. Please check it out. It's a lot of fun. You draft high school guys into your college teams, and then when the NFL draft night rolls around, you get to hang around all your boys on your podcast and be like, haha, Chev got the guy that we all thought was a first rounder, but actually went to the 5th round. You know, that stuff's always fun. You get the sneak ones like that. So it's always a blast to find out which one of the guys actually work out or not. As far as my content, you can find it on the website, on Twitter at @FF_DirtyMike. It's been a really quiet for me, I know, but I do actually post a lot of clips once the season starts, a lot of breakout players. I think I'm credited with being the first one to discover Jordan Tyson. Loved his play at Colorado. I thought he was very intriguing from there. Big Puka Nacua fan too from his time at Washington. Some misses too. I'm not gonna say I don't have guys I like that didn't work out, but that's not what it's all about. We all hype up the wins.
Talk about them.
Yeah, we just forget about them.
That's awesome, man. It's great having you on the show again. You're great knowledge for us in the Dynasty space here. You help us propel our game and help our viewers as well. So you've been a really big insight for us tonight. So really appreciate having you on, Mike. Bigz, do it like you always do. Tell everybody what we're doing, what the show is all about, and everything we're doing right now.
That's a lot. Thank you for watching. Go to fantasysportsadvice.com. Go ahead and do all the call to action things. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, buy our merch. See us at the Fantasy Football Expo. Join our jersey leagues as those are coming up after you get your pro membership. All that stuff. And other than that, we hope you win.
Hope you win, folks. All right. Thanks, Mike. We'll see you next time, everybody. Peace.